Transfer from chair to bed. Okay, so this is a C-sling or a universal sling. I'm going to bring each side up. It's already been checked to see that there's any frayed edges or anything like that. We wouldn't use it. And I'm going to move Fred, our ventilator dependent quadriplegic mannequin, and put him on the sling. So I'm grabbing that by the middle and bringing that down along his spine to the bottom of, or actually to the top of his buttocks, to the bottom of his lumbar area. And then I'm dropping each leg, if you will, from the C-sling down each side. And I'm being very careful of the tubing on the lift, on the ventilator, so I don't disconnect. So I'm checking to see this has a high headrest because he is a quad, and that the loops are close to his ears and he'll have good head support. Checking also to make sure that the wheelchair is locked. And checking again. And now I'm going to lift his arm gently and put this sling down the side. So I don't have to lift his buttocks. I just have to bring this down under the thigh and bring it up and over to the other knee, over the other thigh. Then I'm bringing the other side, the right side down, and putting that under the right thigh and draping it over the left thigh. So they're crisscrossed. Now I want those pieces to be facing inward and have the outside on the outside of that. This is a mechanical lift with a hydraulic pump, a boom, a cradle, and a bar. So I've opened up the bar, brought the cradle in close. I'm holding the cradle anytime I'm moving the mechanical lift so I don't hit him in the head. Placing the loops over. This has 6 loops, so I'm placing them over and making sure that my tubing is not disconnected and it's on in between the top and the middle loop. Now, some slings and cradles are designed for 4 hooks. Whichever you use the right sling with the right lift. I'm using the loops that are green. I happen to know that this will keep this person in an upright position, but if it wasn't to work, I would lower him and try again before I would move him out over the floor. And there we go. So that is the last of the loops. Now I'm holding on again to the sling, to the cradle, so I don't have that swinging around at all, and I'm holding on to the pump and I'm pumping him up. It's a hydraulic pump, and up he goes. Keeping an eye on the tubing, keeping an eye on his positioning, and making sure he's okay. So now I'm getting the ventilator and I'm taking that off the back of the wheelchair, and it will travel with him over the handlebar of the lift. Tubing is okay. He's not disconnected. He looks comfortable. And there we are.
Go ahead.
So now that we're going to raise the sling all the way up, I'm just pumping. The vent is secure. And I'm going to clear the arms of the wheelchair and have them raised high enough to get over to the bed. Now, some of the wheelchairs you can take the arms off. If the boom is so high and the ceiling is too low, you can always lower the bed. The tube hanging off the mannequin is just a mannequin tube. It has nothing to do with anything. If he has a Foley, you would put it in his lap in the cross section there. Okay, so I'm going to swing his feet around before I push the mechanical lift in any further. And now I'm just positioning. I'm going to take the vent and put it back on its stand next to the bed. Hook that on and have that secure. As you can see, he's not going to fall through. He's perfectly secure in this sling. I went a very short distance, so I wasn't going too far with him, and Fred here is very compliant with moving, being in the sling. As I lower, I'm just turning the knob a quarter turn, or some lifts have a lever. You just turn it, but you always are in control of where that boom is, so you don't hit your client in the head. Now I'm adjusting his positioning while his weight is still being in the sling, so I'm not lifting him at all. I'm just making sure that he's positioned correctly in the bed. Again, holding on to that cradle so I don't hit him in the head while I lower the boom. Now it's low enough so I can detach. I've got to move that vent a little bit out of the way. Make sure the tubing's secure. Now I'm going to release the loops, starting on the opposite side and at the top, going to the middle. And now I'm just going to release all of those slings, loops. He looks okay. I'm going to move the lift out of the way. Now if he was active, I would have put the side rail up before I even moved any equipment. Okay, so now I'm just going to take that from underneath his thighs and bring it up alongside him. And I actually don't even have to do that side so much. I don't want to have these loops dragging underneath him at any point. So I bring that up on the opposite side of me, and also bring all the loops up and just tuck it under his arm. If I tuck all that under his arm on the opposite side, in the direction where I'm turning him, I don't really have to lift him at all. I just want to tuck it under his arm, because then when I turn him over, it will already be out from underneath his body. He's not flexible, so I'm just crossing his foot in the direction towards which I'm turning him, putting the arm out so he's not rolling with that underneath him. Being mindful of body mechanics, he's square, his back and all that is secure. I put that up. Now I want to act like a tray and go all the way under the shoulders. My left hand is not correct. It should have been on the other opposite shoulder. It's out, and there he is, and he's down. Okay, so, but if you do that kind of a turn, I want you to do, use your biceps and your forearms to do the lift. To do the turn, rather. You're not really lifting, you're just standing up, using your leg muscles, not your back so much. I had my buttocks out, my back straight, and there he is. And the end.